What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Radical Red 4.0 and today's challenge can I be Pokemon Radical Red 4.0 using our Mono region. We're back on the wheel and I was really hoping I didn't get Hisui again. I really want Hisui to be the last one because I don't know how I'm going to get all the Pokemon because it's like 30 Pokemon in total that I can really use and they're all in the mid game. But besides that, we didn't get it. We actually get Unova this time and it feels like deja vu because I feel like I did Unova for some reason, but I didn't do it. And this is going to be our attempt of doing hardcore mode using only Unova Pokemon. It's going to be pretty interesting. If you guys don't know what we're doing, we're on Radical Red, you know, one of the hardest ROM hacks in the world, blah blah blah, and it's also the hardcore mode, so it's going to be even harder. And yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. We can only use Pokemons from the Unova region, and on top of that, each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thanks so much for leaving a comment in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon, just drop in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while it's down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, let's get into the challenge video itself. So to begin off, we are finding a lot of Unova Pokemon. I actually try to find Pansage and Panpour with their hidden abilities, which is going to be Torrent, so we could get Sage Power later. But unfortunately it took so long. Like I had like over 120 encounters on each of them and I was like, what, where's my hidden ability one? So I kind of gave up on that and got a bunch of other Unova Pokemon. While we move on, we'll get them later on. There's another way. And on top of that, we're going to move on into Viridian Forest. We're going to face off against the first two trainers. We beat Brendan and also unlocked Infinite Repels. And also face off against Bug Trainer, which is going to be the last hurdle into Pewter City. And once we get into Pewter City, we're going to face off against Falkner, beat him down obviously, and make our way into the first gym of the game. We're going to face off against Brock. Brock's going to be the Rock type gym leader in the game, and we're start the battle off against him using my Dewott. Dewott's here to bait in the leap, but then I don't have a strategy for the leap itself, so I'm just kind of like going back and forth. I went out to my Herdier and then it went out to his Cacnea, and I'm like, this Cacnea could be a little scary, so I'm gonna put it to sleep and then go out into my Dewott. And then it went back out into the leap. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just playing around. I went back out to my Herdier to sack it, go out to my Axew. He goes out to his room, which allows me to go out to my Panpour and then finally get paralyzed onto the leap. Sack my Panpour, go out to my Watchog, and Watchog's finally able to chip down the leap and knock him out, which is you know what, it's really needed. And as well, from there we're gonna face off against his Lunatone. His Lunatone's gonna knock out my Watchog. Go out to my Pansage, which actually gets checked by his Arcan. Kind of unfortunate, but I go out into my Axew. Axew's able to knock out the Arcan, and then from there he's gonna switch out to his Lunatone. He's gonna knock out my Axew. I go out into my Pansage, do some chip damage against the Lunatone, and then from there he's gonna knock me out. But my Dewott comes in clutch, knocks out the Lunatone for us, knocks out the Hippopotas, and also knocks out the Vroom, and finally knocks out the Cacnea, which is still asleep. We're able to knock him out, and we're able to beat down Brock and get our first gym badge in the game. So from there, we're going to move on and face off against this trainer in Route 4, allowing us to access into Mount Moon and face off against the scientists in Mount Moon. Pretty simple stuff. You know how we do it. We also get some nice Pokemon in Mount Moon. We got a Sock, which has Sturdy. It's going to be really good. You know me and my Sturdy Pokemon on Radical Red. Super broken. From there, we're going to face off against Archer, clear him down pretty easily. And then from here, this raid den and specifically have all the monkey Pokemon, Panpour, Pansage, Pansear. Get them in the raid dens and get the hidden abilities. So that's a pretty nice raid den here. From there, we're going to make our way into the Nugget Bridge into Cerulean City and face off against a rival. We want the stone at the end of this bridge so we can evolve our Pokemon. And from there, we can move on and face off against Misty herself. So we're going to start the battle off against Misty using my Whimsicott over here. Whimsicott is able to Giga Drain into the Politoed. From there, he's going to actually just go out into his Mantine, which I go out for a Stun Spore. Onto my Watchog to go for a Headbutt. Hopefully it flinches, and it actually flinched down the Mantine, which is huge for us. From there, she's going to switch out to her Clocksire. I go for Hypnosis, and then Headbutt, just spam into the Clocksire, chip it down, flinch them, and then knock out the Clocksire as well. From there, she can switch out to her Toxicroak, which I go out to my Whimsicott once more. I Stun Spore into the Toxicroak, which allows me to just kind of basically beat it down. I sacrifice my Whimsicott, go out to my Swoobat, which would knock him out with 2 Heart Stands, which I found out was a physical type move, which, you know, not the greatest. From there, she can switch out to her Starmie. She can knock out my Swoobat, which I go out into my Simisage. Simisage is able to knock out the Starmie and then chip down the Ludicolo. Do I beat him down? No, I don't beat him down, but I got very close in beating down the Ludicolo. As from there, I go out to my Sock. Sturdy Pokemon can knock out the Ludicolo and then chip down the Politoed as we go out into my Simisage. Sage Power Scald knocks out the Politoed pretty easily, so we end up beating down Misty and securing ourselves the second gym badge in the game. From there, we're going to move on into Vermilion City and face off against the SSN itself, and also go out into Lieutenant Surge's gym afterwards and face off all against these trainers, and then face off against Lieutenant Surge himself. We're going to start the battle off against Surge using my Sock to low sweep, outspeed him on the second turn and knock him out, securing myself with the Sturdy. And then from there, he's going to switch out to his Raichu. I Bulldoze twice into him to knock him out, surviving with a Sturdy, sacrifice myself to the Palna, which is alright. Go out to my Golurk, which is a pretty strong Pokemon. He's going to knock out the Palna in one shot. From there, he's going to switch out to his Electrode, which I sack my Golurk. Go out to my Maractus, which is actually my favorite Pokemon of this run. You'll see why. It's going to take the explosion and get knocked out by the Electrode, which is fine. I go out to my Stunfisk next against his Mega Ampharos, and then double into my Excadrill, dodge the Focus Blast, and knock him out with 2 Earthquakes. And then from there, he's going to switch out into his Hitmonlee. He's going to knock me out, but I go out into my Swoobat. Doesn't knock him out, but my Stunfisk is in the back, which will knock him out, and we end up being down Lieutenant Surge. From there, we're going to make our way into the Rock Tunnel and clear down the trainers in here. Excadrill with Rapid Spin's pretty nice for hazard control, and also face off against this trainer blocking our road in Lavender Town, and also making our way into Celadon City to evolve our Pokemon that we need, the Link Trade and any Stone evolutions we have. From there, we're going to move on to Celadon's gym, and we're face off against Erica. Erica's the 4th gym leader in the game. We're set the battle off against him using my Excadrill against a Cradily. We're going to 2-shot into him, and for some reason, she doesn't go for Stealth Rock, so we're able to go for an Iron Head into him and then just flinch him and then 2-shot into him. From there, you can switch out to your Kartana, which is kind of scary. I go out to my Conkeldurr. Kartana comes out, I go out to my Conkeldurr, which I'm just going to double into my Excadrill from that and then catch the Kartana, and it actually did not work out too well. So I sacrificed my Conkeldurr. Bad play. Go out into my Sock, trying to counter into the Kartana. It doesn't work. I get the Hawlucha instead, but that should be fine. As from there, go out to my Swoobat against the Slowbro and chip it down. Eventually knock him down to red HP. Go out to my Darmanitan, which would knock out the Slowbro. For some reason, she switched out to her Kartana, and I'm like, okay, I could survive any move. Fire Punch to knock out the Kartana. She then switched out to her Mega Sceptile. It's gonna knock me out, but I do have an Acelgor in the back. Acelgor is able to knock out the Mega Sceptile. Our final Pokemon will be a Toxtree, which I sacrifice my Acelgor, go out to my Excadrill to knock out, and we end up beating down Erica pretty easily. From there, we're going to make our way into the game corner. Get ourselves a Dino, which we don't really use ever, I don't think. From there, we're going to make our way into the game corner basement, face off against Giovanni because he's a gambling addict, and face off against the Lavender Tower. We can clear through Lavender Tower and get ourselves the Pokeflute, which then we can go into Silph Co and face off against a rival, which isn't too difficult. We're face off against a rival, and then Archer and Ariana. This fight, not my most favorite fight, kind of because Brendan's useless, and then from there, we're going to face off against Giovanni. Giovanni's a lot easier when we have a Pokemon with Sand Rush, and we also have a broken Pokemon in Whimsicott with Prankster and Stun Spore. It's super annoying. From there, we're going to move on into the next gym in the game, but first, we're going to face off against Chuck first. Once we beat Chuck, we get access to the Focus Sash, which is really useful, and then from there, we can face off against Sabrina. We're going to start the battle off against Sabrina using my Maractus and also Samurott. She actually has Infinite Trick Room and Infinite Misty Terrain, so I start the battle off with my Samurott and Maractus to go for an Aqua Jet on the camera up. I go for a Sap Seed against the Tapu Fini, get him down to low HP, and then go out to my Golurk, which then we double attack into the camera up to knock out, and then from there, I survive a Moonblast against the Tapu Fini with my Maractus, and from there, I'm at 1 HP. I can survive some decent move. I go for a Spiky Shield, and then go for a Headlong Rush with my Golurk to knock out the Magearna, and then from there, I can force out the Jellicent. I can double attack into the Jellicent once again, knock out the Jellicent, and the Glacier is still setting up. It's still doing nothing. As from there, Iron Hand is going to knock out my Golurk, and then from there, I go out into my Stoutland, which will lower the attack of the Iron Hands, and then from there, go out into my Mienshao. Mienshao is able to knock out the Glacier for us, and then from there, Maractus goes down. I go out into my Sock. Socks can counter into their Iron Hands and eventually knock them out, as we end up beating down Sabrina pretty easily. Now from there, we're going to make our way into Fuchsia City by clearing down this route in Cycling Road, and then facing off against Brendan in front of the Safari Zone. He's blocking our access into the Safari Zone, and once we beat him, we have access. From there, we can move on and face off against Brock next. We have to rematch the first 3 gym leaders because Koga's a bit of a diva, but it's not too difficult this time around. We beat down Brock on our like 2nd or 3rd attempt. And then facing off against Misty, we beat him down pretty easily. And against Lieutenant Surge, it's a bit of a struggle, but eventually we get through it. We use Zep Striker for some reason. You know what? It works out. As from there, we're going to make our way into the next gym in the game. We're going to face off against Koga next. Koga's going to be the 6th gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my X drill. We're going to force the Tapu Lele to miss a Focus Blast and an Iron Head into him to knock him out. From there, he's going to switch out to his Krookodile, which I double out into my Whimsicott. I take an Earthquake pretty easily and then Giga Drain into him. From there, I could actually chip him down, but he's going to actually switch out on a second turn if I hit him. So I go out to my X drill. We're going to Earthquake into his Toxicity, which from there, he's going to switch out into his Hoopa Unbound, sacrifice my X drill, and then go out into my Selgor. From there, I could U-turn into him. This would kill regardless, but most likely he's going to switch out as a U-turn into the Nidoking, go out to my Golurk, and then Headlong Rush to knock him out. And from there, he's going to go back out to his Hoopa. He's going to knock out my Golurk. I go out to my Selgor. I have a Focus Sash on. Bug Buzz will also kill him, so we're able to knock out the Hoopa Unbound. And from there, he's going to switch out to his Shiyu, sacrifice my Selgor, go out to my Hydreigon, which would 2-shot into him with Earth Power. So, you know, this is actually a Shiyu counter. From there, he's going to switch out to his Krookodile, which I just sacked my Hydreigon. Bad play, maybe, but I go out to my Whimsicott, Giga Drain to knock him out anyways as we beat down Koga, and yeah. We have access to Surf now, so we can make our way into Seafoam Island and face off against Price. We get ourselves a Choice Scarf, which is really nice, and also we're gonna face off against May in front of the Pokemon Mansion. It's decent, you know. We make it to the end, and from there we're gonna face off against Blaine himself. Blaine's giving me the 7th gym leader in the game, and we're gonna start the battle off against him using my Maractus once again with Chlorophyll. Double speed in the sun is pretty nice. We start the battle off against him using my Maractus against his Sandy Shock. He's afraid, so he switched out to his Ho-Oh. I catched him with my Terrakion. And Rockstar would knock him into his second life, Phoenix form, and then he's going to switch back out into his Sandy Shock. From there, I go out to my Maractus once again because this thing's a monster. I go for Sappy Seed to knock out the Sandy Shock. He then switched out to his Venusaur, which I'm like, kind of scary. I go out to my Terrakion to sack it. Go out to my Darmanitan afterwards with Flare Blitz into him. Knock him down to his Focus Sash, but he's going to knock me out. It's alright though, since I'm Maractus in the back with Sucker Punch to knock him out. And then from there, I can switch out to my Sokka against the Charizard, predicting the Dragon Dance in front of me, so I can counter into him to knock him out. And then from there, he switches out to his Great Tusk. I go out into my Whimsicott next, and then predict him to predict me, going out to my Zebstrika. Didn't expect the Ho-Oh, but you know what? We'll take it. Zippy Zap into him to knock him out, and then from there, he goes out to his Walking Wake. I go for a Bolt Strike and knock him out with a Zippy Zap, and from there, his final opponent will be a Great Tusk. Sacrifice my Zebstrika, go out into my Whimsicott, and then from there, I can Moonblast and 2-shot into him as we end up beating down Blaine and getting ourselves the 7th gym badge in the game. Now, from there, we're going to make our way into Cerulean Cave, and this trainer in particular, Annihilape, is pretty broken, and I just had a hard time countering him. Looking up Whimsicott's in the back with Stun Spore is really useful. From there, we're going to face off against Archer and Ariana in back-to-back fights. We beat down Archer pretty easily, and against Ariana, we clutched it up, lucky enough. Sock always clutched up with a counter, and then from there we can make our way into the next fight where we face off against Giovanni. Against Giovanni, Krookodile just stands out super. It's probably the best Pokemon to have here. Wicked Blow, just non-affected, crit all the time, super broken. From there, we're going to move on to the final gym in the game. We're going to face off against Claire next. Claire is going to be the 8th gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Extra Drill. We're going to go for Iron Heads, and we actually flinched them out twice, and then, yeah, we block hazards. We didn't need to do that since we have Rapid Spin anyways, but we ended up beating down the Shuckle. And then from there, I'm going to sack my Extra Drill anyways, and then go out to my Sock, predicting him to go out to his Eternatus, which I go out to my Golurk, and then Headlong Rush to knock him out. And then from there, I'm going to sack my Golurk, I go out to my Sock, and counter does not do a lot of damage at all. Because for some reason, Sock's really tanky. It's going to knock him out eventually in the second turn. And then from there, she's going to switch out to her Duraludon. I go out into my Terrakion for some reason and then just let him die. So that's a great play. From there, I go out to my Krookodile to knock out the Duraludon. And then from there, I go out to my Darmanitan against the Magearna. Flare Blitz to knock him out. And then from there, her final opponent will be an Ultra Necrozma, which knocks out my Darmanitan. But I go out into my Krookodile, which would 2-shot into him with Potos and Wicked Blow. And then from there, we end up beating down Claire, get ourselves the 8th gym badge in the game, and also go out into the grass and catch ourselves a Thundurus and also Landorus, which I didn't show, but I caught him, don't worry. From there, we're going to face off against a rival in Route 22 and beat him down pretty easily. Also beat down Brendan in Route 23 and then make our way into Victory Road. We want to actually go into Victory Road for 2 different reasons. We don't want to face off against the Genesect raids because obviously we got a Choice Scarfs that we want. We got 3 Choice Scarfs, which is nice. And then also against Genesect himself, we want to catch him because Genesect's a Gen 5 Pokemon, so we'll take that to our advantage. Meloetta, I didn't want to use her, but she actually rounds on my team really well, so I decided to actually just went out and use the Den once again. Get ourselves a Meloetta as well. Also gonna activate Meloetta by using Relic Song on a Garchomp out here. It's not Garchomp specifically, just Relic Song. We get our physical attacking Meloetta, and from there our team is gonna look like this: Meloetta, Terrakion, Krookodile, Genesect, Whimsicott, and Sock. From there, we can make our way into the first Elite Four member in the game, which is going to be Lorelei. And use her Ice Team nowadays, which I haven't seen the Water Team in a little bit. But from there, we're going to start the battle off against her using my Meloetta and also Genesect. Genesect's here with Choice Scarf. Well, they both have Choice Scarves. We're going to Ice Beam into the Landorus and then close combat into the Glaceon. Half damage on the Glaceon, but we're going to one-shot the Landorus, and then from there, Meloetta goes down, which is unfortunate, but I got into my Terrakion. Terrakion with Rock Slide is kind of broken, as you can see. So I'm going to Rock Slide, knock out the Glaceon. I'm going to switch on to my Whimsicott next as well. Whimsicott take the damage of the Shinpao. Once again, Rock Slide, Giga Drain into Tapu Fini. We knock out the Shinpao. Tapu Fini's at 1 HP basically. We Rock Slide once again, and then we just sacrifice my Whimsicott. Abomasnow comes out. Final Pokemon will be Abomasnow and Kieran White. Miscalculation on my part. I just want to go for Explosion for some reason. But we end up being down Lorelei after this turn anyways. Things are looking pretty good for us. As from there, we're going to move on and face off against Bruno next. Bruno is going to be the second Elite Four member in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Whimsicott. We're going to Moonblast into his Infernape and then sacrifice it. Okay, that wasn't the best play. Go out to my Terrakion to knock out the Infernape, and then from there, you can switch out to Zacian, which I go out to my Krookodile, and yeah, Krookodile goes down. So I go out to my Sock to counter and knock out the Zacian at least. From there, he's going to switch out to his Iron Valiant, which would knock me out. Go out to my Genesect, which for some reason works out. I go for Flamethrowers, and somehow it's working out as we knock out the Iron Valiant. From there, you can switch out to Necrozma, which I go out into my Meloetta, which will actually knock him down to half HP with a close combat. Actually knocks him down to low HP with 2 close combats. And then go out to my Terrakion to outspeed him. Close combat to knock him out, as his next opponent will be a Zeraora. I stayed in close combat, and then for some reason I survive a Plasma Fist, so that allows me to go for a second close combat to knock him out, and his final opponent will be a Lucario. He knocks me out, but I do have a Genesect in the bag with also Choice Scarf to Flamethrower and knock out the Lucario. So we end up beating down Bruno on like the worst possible plays, but we end up beating down Bruno, so we'll take it. From there, we're going to move on and face up against Agatha next. Agatha is going to be the third Elite Four member. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Meloetta to sing into the Krookodile, keep it asleep to close combat twice into him to knock him out. Just don't mind the first attempt. Sing to knock him out eventually. From there, she can switch out to her Calyrex, which will go out to my Krookodile next. Krookodile is able to go for a Wicked Blow, survive a Draining Kiss obviously, and knock him out. From there, she can switch out into her Yveltal, which sacrifices my Krookodile for. So go out to my Genesect next, which should go for, I don't know, I went for Ice Beam and then Freeze or Frostbite, the Flutter Mane. Lucky enough I didn't go for Explosion, but I go out to my Terrakion next to Iron Head and knock out the Flutter Mane. I took a Moonblast, kind of annoying, and then from there I should go out to my Sock here, and then from there I Bulldoze or Low Sweep, lower the speed of the Victini, go out to my Genesect, and then from there I can Explosion to knock out the Victini. Good player over there. Go out to my Whimsicott against the Mewtwo X and then 2-shot him with Moonblast. And then from there, you can switch out to your Yveltal once again, Moonblast, as he U-turns and knocks me out. From there, I go out to my Terrakion to Rock Slide and knock him out, as we easily beat down Agatha. And from there, we can move on and face off against Lance next. Lance is a bit annoying, so we can start the battle off against him using my Meloetta once again. We're going to sing into the Glimmora, and then we're going to go for a Relic Song. Kind of a big play over here, as we're able to just Psychic down the Arceus and eventually knock him out. Big IQ play. I didn't even know I did that. Completely forgot about that. And from there, I sacrifice my Meloetta. I go out into my Krookodile. Krookodile is able to go for 2 Earthquakes to knock out the Melmetal. From there, you can switch out to his Mega Ray, which I gotta sack my Krookodile here, obviously. No, I go out to my Genesect. Wow, that's a bold play. Extreme Speed, Ice Beam to not knock him out because of the wind. And he's gonna knock out my Genesect as I go out into my Terrakion, knock him out with a Rock Slide, and from there, he switched out into his Dialga, which I'm gonna go out into my Whimsicott for. Take a Flash Cannon and then Stun Spore into him. No, I opted out to not Stun Spore. I go for Moonblast damage. Go out to my Krookodile once again, Earthquake into him to lower it, just to chip him down even more. Go out to my Terrakion to close combat and then knock him out. From there, his next opponent will be a Dragonite, which I go out to my Sock. I don't take Earthquake too well, but he goes for Dragon Dance next, and he's eventually gonna knock me out. But I broke his multi-skill, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go for Rock Slides, because more reliable than Stone Edges, as eventually I'm able to knock out the Dragonite, and then 2-shot into the Glimmora as we beat down Lance. Okay, we'll take that. Terrakion's broken. From there, we're going to move on into the final chamber in the game. We're going to face off against our rival Blue, or Green for some reason. And we're going to start the battle off against him using my Meloetta. We're going to go for a Sing against this Kyogre, and that should be wraps as I go out into my Whimsicott next. Whimsicott catch the Eternatus with a Moonblast and then Stun Spore him, and then I go out into my Meloetta. Meloetta is able to go for 2 Psychics against him to knock out the Eternatus. From there, he's going to switch out his Arceus Steel, which I sack my Meloetta, go out to my Krookodile, Krookodile is able to go for 1 Earthquake to knock out the Arceus Steel. From there, he's going to switch up to his Walking Wake, which I go for an Earthquake. Maybe overzealous, but from there I go out into my Terrakion to close combat and knock him out. His next move will be an Arceus, which I go out to my Whimsicott to sack, and then go out to my Genesect to Explosion and knock out the Xerneas. From there I go out into my Sock next. Sock's able to go for a counter to knock out the Swampert, and finally his last Pokemon will be his Primal Kyogre. Still asleep as I go for a low sweep against him. I outspeed him now, close combat to knock him out, which I was not expecting. Sock is kind of strong over here, but we end up beating down our rival and we secure ourselves a place in the Pokemon League using only Unova Pokemon. I wouldn't say this is the fastest attempt I had. It was kind of long. I had some rough spots against certain trainers like Lieutenant Surge. Koga was a little annoying. Some of the RNG wasn't working, and also I believe like in the early game I wasn't really into it, wasn't really having fun with it, but at the end I sped through it really fast, especially in the Elite Four. That was really fun because my team was really broken, and I was like, wow, this team might be the greatest team ever, because there was no like hardships at all. Like I think 1 or 2 attempts maximum for each Elite Four member. But that'll be it for me today. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name's been Alpha, and I hope you guys all have a great day. And I'm out. Peace.